Take your seat, clap your hands, take your seat, stomp your feet, feel that sound from head to ground, let it move you when it hits. Take your seat, clap your hands, take your seat, stomp your feet. This ain't passive, this is real, this is high transformation feel. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. We are back on the podcast. I am so excited tonight. I am here with my guest co-host, Natasha. She always says, and I'm going to let her talk in a minute, she's that family member that came to visit but never went home. Hi, Facebook family, YouTube family. It is me, your host from the S.I.T podcast. I am Sabrina, and I am honored to be here with you tonight. Oh, my goodness. We have a lot to talk about tonight. First of all, I want to say that, as you can see, I am by myself, which means my partner in crime, Michelle, is not here tonight. Tasha, can you believe that Michelle is not here tonight?
Yes, we already know it's her birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Golden Link. I would be remiss if I did not wish my partner in crime, Michelle, the Golden Link, a happy birthday. Michelle, I hope you are having fun. I know if it was my birthday, I'd be gone too. So, Facebook family, YouTube family, are you with me tonight? I know it's early. I know you guys got to get your coffee and your popcorn, but I want you to come and hurry up and settle in. We have a lot to talk about. We were not here last week, but we are back this week. And
right. We was off for the holiday.
Yeah, we were off for the holiday. Okay, so it wasn't really a holiday for us. But we kind of made it our holiday because the actual holiday was on Friday.
Well, everybody probably had a lovely weekend with their family, as such and we needed that extra day to recover.
You know what, Tasha, you are 120% right. My family and I drove to Maryland to celebrate my brother's 62nd birthday. And then we also had a pool party with some other family members. And so it was a great time to be had by all. And I was just, oh my goodness, I love being around my family. So it doesn't matter what we're doing. But this particular last weekend was really beautiful. How about you? How's your July going so far?
It's going well. You know, I'm not loving these heat waves that we're in. So coming from 104, it feels like 85. It feels cool. But it's moseying along. I'm just trying to cherish every day because we only get 2 months of summer. And, you know, the summertime is really well. And we already at July 13th. And I'm like, just take every day, one day at a time.
2026 is already halfway over. Can you imagine?
Yep. I know.
I still can't believe we're in July, but we are. And so Facebook family, YouTube family, are you out there tonight? If you are, I want you to make sure you click, share, and subscribe. Tell everybody to come in. Michelle, my co-host, is not here tonight, and so I'm going to need some co-hosts out there in Facebook and YouTube land. I'm going to need you to help me tonight. Tasha, guess what?
What?
It's Michelle's birthday, and she said she was going to at least be listening. So, Michelle, guess what? She's always teasing me, right? Because on everybody's birthday and holidays, I'm always making a song for them. So I made a song for Michelle's birthday. Michelle, listen now. This isn't it in its entirety. However, I'll send it to you so you can listen to the whole thing. But we just wanted to say happy birthday, Golden Link. And here's the song that was made for you.
Some people come and some people go, like changing season, no winter, snow. But every now and then heaven sends a heart that's more than just a friend. Michelle, you shine wherever you stand. You lift the weary, calm every fear. Michelle, you're the golden link. Your light keeps burning from deep within. Michelle, you're the golden link. Your light keeps burning from deep within. Michelle, you're the golden link. A heart of gold, a soul so bright, turning darkness into light. Through every storm, through every climb, your friendship stands the test of time. Oh, 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 oh. Every story. Oh, 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 oh. Can be done. Oh, 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 oh. Through every storm, through every climb, your friendship stands the test of time.
All right, happy birthday, Golden Link. I'm going to send it to you so you can listen to it in its entirety.
Well, the Golden Link is listening. She's on YouTube and she says she loves her song. Thank you.
You welcome, Golden Link. She's always saying, Sabrina, you make songs for everybody. When you going to make us $1,000,000?
And well, look, that's what I was
Stop
thinking
it.
about. I'm like, I'm loving my cousin creativity. Like, we need to be making an album instead of sitting up here yapping our mouths.
Listen, let me tell you something. I sit home. The worst thing they could have done was let me retire because I sit home and I make videos and songs. When it was Taylor's birthday, my niece, I created this big, I don't know, I think it was 18 by 24 signage for her graduation party. Like, I just sit home and just, my mind just goes all the time, and I'm grateful for it. Oh, my God. All right, so let's move on to our next topic. Tasha.
Yes, my love.
You know, we've created Tea with Tasha. Hey, May May. Oh, my goodness. Welcome, 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 YouTube family, Facebook family. I'm so happy you have joined us tonight. Please share and subscribe so that others, well, so that you won't miss a session, but so that other folks can join us too. All right, Tasha.
And Michelle is sitting at home with D Car 3508.
Hey,
Who's that?
Arthur.
Oh, that's Arthur. Okay.
So you know, we have Tea with Tasha, and we do get so many letters, and some of them we just can't read on air. But as I was sorting through our letters, I found one that I thought would be perfect to read because I think that is going to speak to so many people and give them some insight on this this letter. So do you want to read it or you want me to read it?
Oh, I'll read it.
Okay,
I'll read it.
All right.
So the subject line of the letter is circling the block.
Ooh,
Dear
circling the
Natasha.
block.
Yes.
Love it.
Dear Natasha, I was dating this guy, and after one date, I knew he wasn't the right person for me. During the entire date, he talked almost exclusively about himself. He never asked about my interests, my family, my goals, or even how my day was going. It feels less like getting to know each other and more like I was sitting through an interview about his life. Wow. There were other things that made me uncomfortable. He repeatedly invaded my personal space, even though we barely knew each other. It made me feel like my boundaries didn't matter. I left the date knowing we were simply not compatible. Since then, he's dated other women, and I've chosen to stay single and focus on myself for now. But every now and then, every few months, he'll call and text asking if I would like to go out again. Every time I politely decline. Why? What confuses me is why. He knows I said no before. He knows the relationship never really started. He knows I'm not interested. So why does he keep circling back? Is he genuinely interested now? Did he suddenly change? Or is he simply hoping that if he asks me enough times, I'll eventually give in? Now, these are all good questions. I hope our Facebook viewers and YouTube viewers chimed in on what do they think it is, right?
Yes, Facebook, please, YouTube, please chime in. We are talking about circling the block. You've
Yes.
gone out on a date, and it could be a guy or girl. You know it's not working. You've cut ties with the person. However, they keep coming back
Right.
despite the fact that you keep saying no. What do you think it is? Are they trying to weigh you down? Have they changed? Would you go out on another date with them? What do you think? Let's hear what Tasha has to say about this letter, and then I'll weigh in at the end.
Right. So there's a few more lines. She says, sometimes I wonder if he's trying to just wear me down
Ooh.
rather than win me over. How should I look at this situation? So, I'm going to always start with being self-reflective. And thank you, Circling the Block. I hope you're listening so that you
Yes.
can get our feedback. And we did choose your letter, and it's a good one tonight. But I'll start with when you have an initial instinct, how come you don't go through with it? Why don't we listen to what our spirits say, what our souls say, and what's important to us, right? So I would wonder, did she set a full boundary with him? Because if
Mm,
she did, she's still almost allowing him to have access with her. There's a couple of glaring words in this language is I knew he wasn't the right person for me. I felt uncomfortable. He violated my boundaries. But
mm-hmm.
yet it's still every few months he's texting you or calling you. How come that access is still there? I would make one ask her to wonder about that because I think she knows what she needs to do. Because at least for me, every question she asks, everything she stated, it could be one, all, or two and all, or none. But the bottom line is she doesn't want to be bothered anymore. So why is she not holding a steady line with that and eliminating, not limiting, but eliminating his access to her?
Yeah.
Because in my experience, you know, as long as you give people access to you and they want something, they'll try. And you could spend your whole life trying to figure out what they are looking at and what they may be thinking about and what they want to do. But the question you have to ask yourself is, what do you want? And
Absolutely.
I know that's a difficult question sometimes because people don't know what they want. You
Yeah.
know, and in the practice that I do, I ask people every day, what do you want? You have you've told me a lot of what you don't want, but do you actually know what you want? If I
Mm-hmm.
had a penny for every time somebody said a penny, I'm saying for every time in the 30 years I've done this work, when I've asked that question, people will say, Natasha, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I know it's a good question, but can you answer it? I don't say that.
Right.
So
Right.
now everybody know what I was thinking.
Right.
But the point is, it is a good question, and they never really have an answer. So it kind of becomes a homework assignment or something thematic that we weave into the therapeutic process. So it's something to think about. Like, if you know what you want, why does he still have access to you?
Right. 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 Facebook family, YouTube family. Did you hear that? Did it resonate? Tell me what you think about this letter about circling the block. You know, Tasha, it's so funny. You said a lot of good. You provided a lot of good responses, and I just want to add that you're right. So the person for me, and thank you, circling the block. We really appreciate the letter, and it actually is prevalent and relevant to what is going on in today's world, right? But I would say ask yourself, forget about the person, ask yourself, why is it you still allow this person to call you? Tasha talked about it.
Mhm.
Why are you allowing this person to impede on your boundaries, especially is it since you know you don't that person is not the right person? Is there something in you that is a little bit curious? Is it some loneliness? I don't know, but these are questions that you have to ask yourself. Me personally, my family knows if they're online, they're gonna tell you block and delete.
Mhm.
Don't give up your energy, time, or space when you know it is not conducive for you. Move on. Don't give that person no more access. Then they will absolutely know there's not an option to come back to you.
Yeah, yeah. And it may be hard to say that to the person because she's asking, how should I look at this situation?
Yeah.
A lot of times, what people have the misconception of is that you have to know is almost like this underlying need to have perfection, right? So you have to have the knowledge before you can make the next step.
Yeah.
And we don't like uncertainty. The brain doesn't like ambiguity.
Yeah.
But you don't need to know what this situation looked like
Right.
because at least in the beginning of the letter, and even from the first date, you knew this person wasn't the right person for you.
Right. I mean,
So
are you
again,
hoping that
what's
they
the
change? I mean,
yes, there's a lot of questions
yeah.
you can ask yourself about having this level of access. And even if you convincing yourself is only limited access, or every time you end the conversation, he's not going to call back, sometimes you have to say the hard words like, I see you may still have some interest, but as you know, I'm not interested in you. And, please don't call this phone again. And then delete and block or block and delete,
Block
however it goes.
BD, block and delete. Block and
Yeah.
delete. Good stuff. Thank you, circling the block. That was absolutely amazing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have something you want to talk about, you want some answers, maybe a little bit of a better insight or somebody else's opinion, or you just want to talk about it, you can always email us at sitpodcast1@gmail.com. You can call us 732-902-1252. And you can most certainly inbox us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. And so we're here. We want to unravel it too. Your question might help somebody else. So please feel free to send in your letters. Thank you so much. Facebook family, YouTube family, how are we doing out there tonight? What did you think of the letter? What were some of your responses? Would you be like me? And I mean, of course, I would say I respectfully decline a date, but would you then block and delete if the person still calls you? Because obviously they're not going to respect your boundaries if they keep calling you after you said no. So block and delete, or would you have another conversation? Let us know. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, what the viewers think.
What the viewers think. Okay, good. So, Tasha, we're going to move right along because we got a lot to cover tonight. And as you know, time goes by this 60 minutes goes by so fast. All right. So next we are going to talk about, oh my God, connecting. Connecting yet alone, understanding loneliness in the digital age. I want you, Facebook family, YouTube family, and we're going to do it with you. I want you to watch. Now, I need you. Get your popcorn. Get your green tea. I'm a green tea drinker with lemon, ginger. Okay, never mind. But get your tea, get your popcorn, get whatever it is. Get comfortable because I want you to watch this 3-minute video, and then we're going to talk about it once we come back. So, Trish, we're going to gear up for the video.
We built these walls without a sound, living close but worlds apart. Eyes on screens, heads hanging down, while silence slowly filled our hearts. Love was waiting in the next room, crawling softly through the night. All it needed was one moment to finally look up toward the light. One touch, one smile, one embrace can heal what time could never erase. When we look up, we come alive. Heart to heart, side by side. No signal stronger than a hand to hold. No screen can replace us soul. We were never meant to walk alone. Love is where we all belong. When we choose each other every day, together we're stronger. Together we'll find our way. Hear the laughter, feel the air, see the joy return again. Every memory that we create becomes a life that never ends. Children laughing, families singing, friends becoming known once more. The greatest gift we'll ever treasure. Put the phones down, lift your eyes, watch hope begin to rise. One conversation, one shared smile can change your life forever. The world grows brighter when we're together. We come alive, hand in hand, heart to heart. Every hug can heal the soul. Every moment makes us whole. Love is louder than the noise. Hope is found in simple joys. This is where forever starts. When we look up and open our hearts, look up. Someone is waiting to smile with you. Look up. The most beautiful moments have never been on a screen. They've always been right beside you.
Alrighty. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you, I did do the video, and yes, I did create the song, but it was for a purpose. So, Tasha, There was once a world where people knew each other's names before they knew each other's users' names. We connect faster to Wi-Fi than we do to another person or even ourselves. What do you think about that?
Oh wow. First of all, I'm like a little over here getting teary-eyed. The video and the song was beautiful. And even like the transition, with seeing like visually, I hope it really impacted our viewers as much as it impacted me. And with you asking that question, it is that simple, right? Simplicity. It is simplicity. Like, do we want to connect with people and have those social connections, or do we want to be connected to devices and
Right.
believe that we're connecting with people? And like you said, we people are walking up and knowing people username before they know their even real name. It's really interesting. And I learned a lot. My kids are a late millennial and an early Gen Z, right?
Right.
And so they teach me a lot. And they be like, "Ma, how you know that?" But I learn from my young clients as well, because I'm in school every day. I'm in the hard knocks boot camp every day. I got the expertise, but the work that I do, I learn every day from the people that I work for with, and I'm so grateful for them
Yeah.
because they definitely keep me grounded.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I hear, and I ask questions when I'm a little confused, or because there's a huge generation gap, because many of my clients, I'm older enough to be their mama. They're younger than my children,
Yeah.
right? And so I hear this a lot. Like, it's almost embarrassing to ask for someone's phone number first. When
Mm.
people are out socializing, what I hear from the young men and even from the young ladies, like, you got to ask for their Instagram, because people are scared and fearful, interested in talking about access with the T with Tasha letter, is they don't want people to have their phone numbers yet until they get to know them. So
Yeah.
they exchange their first getting to know each other through a DM on one of these social media platforms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, are you guys serious?
Yeah. Or they'll
Like,
get a
you could
Google
delete and block.
phone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they do the
Google
Google phone
phone.
and all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
But the reason, I talk them through it, because if we want to have a real conversation, while people may feel like, okay, it's safety, and you living from a place of fear
Yeah.
or living from a place of abundance? And then when you think about it long term, what does that do to your psyche? So
Yeah.
you already, and I'm not saying, look, go into relationships and trust everyone. People have a misconception, which we'll talk a lot about, the difference between being alone and loneliness, but people also got a misconception about trust.
Yeah.
Trust is earned and
Yep.
built. You don't give trust away. So I'll give somebody my phone number, and if they're not trustworthy, I will delete it.
You
When
mean
we grew up,
BD? BD?
yes,
Block and
but
delete.
you know what? When we grew up, if somebody kept calling the house, you can tell your mama, tell that person don't
Stop
call
calling
here
me.
again.
Yep. Yep.
Right, because we
Yep.
couldn't delete them off the house phone, and they
Yeah.
could call the number. And if it got real bad, mama changed the telephone number altogether.
Right.
So, I guess it's very interesting, because I want people and our listeners to wonder about some of the ways that we're operating, or we see our children operate, or our sisters and brothers, or people that's dating. Really, are we operating from fear? And if we are, how does that limit us in connecting with
Yeah.
people?
Yeah.
Because it's a framework that we operating from.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I asked myself that question, I was coming up with technology also gives us, when we don't connect to humans or ourselves, and we connect to these apparatuses, this Wi-Fi, technology gives us instant gratification, right? Everything is fast paced
Mm,
today. We the
yeah.
microwave generation. Human technology gives instant gratification. Human connection requires vulnerability. We
And
have yet
work.
and work, and we have yet to learn to do that, right? A screen never tells us we're wrong. A person might.
Hmm.
Notification gives us a quick hit of excitement. And it's true,
Wow.
because if I see on my phone, a notification, I'm like, oh, let me see who's texting me,
Now
notification.
you know you're not telling the truth about that.
I, I, I I do.
You know
Well, if I have my phone, I don't. I
something.
don't have my phone all the
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Um,
Not. But we get the gist of it. Because
yeah,
for me, I don't use my phone at all. If I know where my kids at and where my husband is at, people call me for we making plans together. And sometimes we get on the phone and
Yeah.
chit chat because and actually it's always on I have to be initiative with that because everybody know what type of work I do. So you never know what time you call me. But sometimes if I see too many ping pings coming up, it makes me anxious. It
Yeah.
like that's just something that I have to get through or I have to call back. And even now, even with some of my clients, I get disconnected a little bit
Yeah.
because I'll call and leave a voice message, and 2 weeks ago by, and I'm like, the person ain't called me back yet. Then I like call and leave another voice message, but then text, hey, are you getting my messages? And they'll respond immediately to the text. Like no one's listening to voice
Yeah.
messages no more.
You know, it's funny you said that because if I have my phone, I do, but I do like you. I get a little bit anxious when I get too many texts. And you know,
Hmm.
what we do now is we create group texts. And so you got like 6 different group texts. And so you
Oh.
got 20 texts. I have to really shut it down because I'm not a text person. I would rather for you to call me. But for me, I have to be a little bit cautious because I have my mom in the nursing home,
Hmm.
and I got my grandkids and my kids. And so I'm not on high alert, but I do want to
Hmm.
be ready and available, with them. But it's funny you talked about the different generations, and I pulled up this chart, right? And it talks about the generations: baby boomers, Generation X, millennials, and Gen Z, and Generation Alpha. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit, and you can weigh in. Facebook family, YouTube family, I need you to listen to this because I'm going to need you to weigh in on this and tell me what you think and if this is spot on. Baby boomers born 1946 to 1964. So their ages is 62 to 80. How do they typically connect? Face to face conversations, phone calls, church, family gatherings, community events. Common challenges. What challenges do they have? Retirement, loss of loved ones, children's moving away, shrinking social circles, right? Because they're getting older, so they're losing people.
Hmm.
That's for the baby boomers. Then we have the Generation X, 1965 to 1980. So that's ages 46 to 61. You listening, Facebook and YouTube? How do they typically connect? Texting, phone calls, emails, balancing in person, and digital communication. What are their common challenges? Caring for aging parents and children. They call, I was going to say us, but I'm in the next generation. Okay, I'm lying.
No, no.
They call them the sandwich
Sandwich
generation.
generation,
Right, because we
yes.
take care of the eldest, plus we also,
Yeah.
deal with the generation underneath us. Work life balance, isolation from busy schedules. And we're
Hmm.
going to talk about that. Then you have the millennials, 1981 to 1996. That's the 30 to 45 age range. How do they typically connect? Social media, texting, video calls, group chats, online communities. What are some of their common challenges today? Comparison culture. Oh my goodness. Career
Hmm.
pressure, delayed marriages, financial stress, and burnout.
Hmm.
We have the Gen Z, 1997 to 2012, ages 14 to 29. How do they typically connect? Smartphones, social media, gaming. My son is on this game, and I'm like, who are you talking to?
You talking to,
Right.
yeah.
Video chats and texting. Some of their challenges: a lot of anxiety, cyberbullying, FOMO, which is fear of missing out, dependence on online validation, loneliness despite constant connectivity. So they're saying that this Gen Z really suffers with the
It's
loneliness.
experiencing
Yep.
loneliness. Yeah.
Then we have the alpha from 0 to age 13. How do they connect? Tablets, educational apps, streaming, gaming, AI assisted learning. What are their common challenges? Then this is big: excessive screen time. So Gen Z and Generation no Alpha, excessive screen time, reduced face-to-face interaction, developing social skills, dependence on technology. Tasha, that's a
Right.
lot. So what it's saying is we really have to watch these, this new generation, this Alpha and the Gen Z.
Yeah, and the next one is the beta that's coming up after
Yep.
alpha with this
Mm-hmm.
technology. Because the reality is technology can be very useful, right? Because we've seen it even like we could just look back at what happened during the pandemic and how it helped people stay connected, how information got out, moving to Black Lives Matter. Now, if when people are serious about being in politics and you know what's going on, not just in your neighborhood, but across the globe. But
Yes.
however, it could be very, very dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Because you could see from the baby boomers generation, which is some of the Gen Z and the Alphas grandparents and or great grandparents who are still around,
Mm-hmm.
you've gone from having Sunday dinner with grandma or Friday night hangout with grandma, fish
Yeah.
fry or whatever, to the whole family coming over to now you playing games talking to strangers in your
Mm-hmm.
bedroom on a Friday
Yeah.
night, as
Yeah.
opposed to being in community with your family or at a social event and even at on church on Sunday. Many of my clients, which is sometimes I'm guilty of it as well, we watching church online on Sunday. We used to go to church and be in church all day
Honey,
with the shoes hurting
I'm
your
there every
feet and
chance I
having
got.
lunch at the church
Yeah. Yeah.
waiting for the cake. The
Yeah.
every or the church, the bakers in the church, you want the cake. You got to eat the food before you get the cake,
Yeah.
right? They didn't play that at church when I was younger. You had to eat before you got dessert.
Yeah.
So we've gone from this life of even having that work-life balance because you had social commitments that help you balance it out
Yeah.
to people making appointments to hang out with friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even think about it, because you got a lot of people now, even though it was taken away for some, but they remote work. And
Yeah,
and you know what, Tasha? When you remote work, because I used to do it, you tend to spend more time working because you're at home. And so
of
instead of
course.
checking out at 5 o'clock, you're on at 6 because you know you're at your leisure
Hmm.
at home, or 7 or 8.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
we really have to talk about how do we get connected in this disconnected world, because silence
Yeah.
speak loud, right?
Yeah. And I
How?
think, there's an illusion, what you've been talking about when we think about what's the difference between loneliness and being alone, right?
Yeah.
People are very conscious when you're physically alone, right? And you
Hmm.
do something about it. People get dogs, you make friends with your neighbors, you go out, you do things about it. But if you have constant interaction with people over the internet, like on Zoom meetings, so you're not at work, and you're working a lot of hours and you're talking on the dating apps. Sometimes what I hear about these dating apps, that sounds like a full-time job. Like if you're talking to three or four different people, you got to first keep them all in order, know what conversation is flowing, and you're
Right.
having that. You could spend hours doing that
Yeah.
when you could have been out having fun, getting exercise, playing a game. I like that last part of the video where the family kind of went out and was playing soccer and had a
Yes.
picnic. Ask yourself, when the last time you went and sat in the park and had a picnic and enjoyed the greenery?
Yeah, put your
Because
feet in
you
the
could.
grass and get grounded. Oh, I love it.
Exactly, exactly. Because most of the time, what I hear is when people are relaxing, guess what they're doing? Binge watching the show they trying to catch up on. Because now when we were growing up, you saw the show one week, and if you wanted to see the next episode, you had to be it at the same time next week. It was
Yep.
no rewind. If you missed it, you missed the whole plot. Like Dallas was like, "Who killed Jr.?" Remember that,
Yeah, yes,
Katrina, with
yes.
the soap operas? You had to watch the show. It was not
Yeah.
on no repeat,
Yeah.
and you couldn't. And I remember because I was a soap opera fan, daytime soap opera. I thought I was in heaven when the cable channel gave us the soap operas on nighttime. They had a soap opera channel.
Yeah.
Me and Sean would be
I
watching the
remember
soap
that.
operas at night after we put the kids to bed because if you didn't see them in the day while you were working, you
Mhm.
lost your entertainment, your telenovela, right? But
Yeah.
now you can jump on. Thank God for YouTube because we're on YouTube. Thank you and
Thank you,
Facebook,
YouTube
and you
and
can get.
Facebook.
Yes, I'm not saying anything about that. We appreciate you, but now you can jump on YouTube or jump on Netflix or you could binge it and you can watch it so there you don't have the structure around it. And I think that plays a lot to disconnection because you talked about earlier the instant gratification and having it at your fingertips.
Yeah.
A lot of times that allows people not to have structure or consistency. Like you
Right.
just wake up, you know what you got to do. But if people are listening to us, because we're Gen X and we were raised with the baby boomers, right? And the silent generation was before that. you had to have structure. You had to be at church at a certain time. If you had Tuesday night bingo, my grandmother was part of political club. They had meetings. There was things that was organized around you socializing, but that means you had to have your chores done. You had to
Yeah.
do things structurally to socialize, to
Right.
have fun.
Right.
Now, I don't know where that
Even
plays
the
out, and I
focus,
know a lot of
right?
people struggle.
Even the focus, because with this fast microwave generation, you lose your focus. Like you people call it multitask, but it's like you
Hmm.
are all over the place. You are not focusing on one thing. I
Yeah.
often hear a lot of people say, I forgot to do so and so, or I did, or I missed this, or I missed that. It's the memory might be bad, I don't know, but it's more like you're not focusing on the one task you probably need to focus on,
Hmm.
because we're so used to multitasking mentally when we scroll endlessly on social media. I do have a guilty pleasure. I like those little drama apps, and you can't tell me I don't speak another language now from watching it, but that's neither here nor there. And so I often have to tell myself, okay, you've been on this now for an hour. It's time. You don't do it anymore until tomorrow, because it can become very addictive.
Yeah. Well, I think if people want to look at this and think about when you look at your life and think about, like you said, if you feel filled up, but then you don't have a breath of community, right?
Yes.
Because you spend a lot of time with the device, whether it's gaming, dating apps, social media for your pleasure instead of having a phone call with someone. I was mortified when iPhone did the update. I don't play with this phone. But whenever they did the update or whenever it became like a notification of your screen
Yeah.
time, because I didn't change anything on my phone. I was just at the end of work one day, I got this message that your screen time was 32% more than yesterday. And I was like, what in the world is this? And I was mortified with my screen time. But the reality is my screen time was me working.
Yeah.
But it was a gentle reminder how long you sit in front of a
Oh, yeah.
device. And
Yeah.
I think for people who use the screen for other pleasures beyond work, I think that can be something to help you. It's almost like your calorie counting. When you realize how many calories you take in, but you're trying to lose weight, but you see it, it may wake you up. So it's that's something to think about when you're thinking about how you may feel like you're engaged or connected
Yeah.
because you have the access through this apparatus.
Yeah.
But if you sit back and look at your life, when is the last time you had a phone conversation? When is the
Right.
last time you just went out with somebody and sat in the park? When
Right.
is the last time you just read a book and stopped and cut all the electronics off and just sat
Yes.
down with your own
Yes.
thoughts? I think that's kind of like something people could look at. Now,
Yeah.
I do know the phone a little bit more, so I know you can go in your settings and look at your screen time, and it will tell you. It's keeping track of it for you because guess what? That's how they know what to make. That's how they know what the apps to do. They know what your algorithm is, and they're gonna keep making stuff for you to keep watching the screen.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really important. And we're going to talk about that. How do we reconnect with ourselves and others? Facebook
Yeah.
family, YouTube family, you are quiet out there tonight. How are we doing? Is any of this resonating with you? Tell us. Oh, we got quite a few comments out there. So, but hi, Belinda. Hi, May May. Hi, Poogie. Terry, I see you watching. May May said to our letter, did she make it clear to him that she's not interested? That's a good point, May May,
Right.
because that's important, right? Because if she
Yeah.
did and he's crossing her boundaries, well, then that's a whole nother conversation. Hi, Arthur. Love you. Poogie says, I always ask for social media. I always ask folks for social media. Oh, okay. When you're talking to folks, tell me why is that important to ask for their social media, and we'll get back to that question. That was a good one. She
Mhm.
said, hi Michelle, hi it girl. Oh my God, everybody's online tonight. I love y'all. Thank you guys. Remember, share so other folks can join us.
Right. I'll
Tasha,
tell you, we got Darius watching too with
hi
Michelle. We
Darius.
got Biz. Yes, Biz that play says hi,
Hi,
lady.
Biz that pays. Hi, Monique.
Yes.
Shell, you better come back to work next week. I'm not playing.
Right. Well, look, I can't read all Michelle comments on YouTube. Michelle got a couple of ones. She actually, the golden link thinks I have a beautiful smile.
Oh, she does have a beautiful
But she
smile.
also said, I'm old school and I'm the sandwich generation. I love a person. I love in-person, telephone, and text. That's what she said. The
Shell, that's
golden link.
good, but we have to teach that now to the younger generation that's into this technology heavy. And so we got to find a way to bring them back, right? Because we need community. We need each other.
Yeah.
We need, I'm going to call it plug in. We need to plug in with one another. That's important to get connected. I mean, I think this world is actually driving us away from connection. It's
Mhm.
almost like it's designed to do that. And we don't want to lose our community. We need one another in order to build and grow. I mean,
Well, the research shows that there's a small part of our brain that thrives because we do connect. Now, I'm not so technical with all of the words, but I've done the reading and I know the research. And if you think about it from the when we have a baby, right? How do a baby connect to his
right.
mother?
Yeah.
The brain is still growing once a baby is born. So that part of the brain is a lot larger when you're smaller because that's all you know. So the baby knows to cry
Yep.
to make that connection. Not all cries is because the baby's in discomfort. The
Right.
baby wants attention and want to connect. There's a social connection element that's so natural from birth because that's how babies grow and connect with the world. And everyone's been around a baby, I'm assuming that's probably watching, and you can watch how they steadily grow and as they can connect through the world through, that's why people say do tummy time so they can
Yeah.
see the world from their height, right? Or from the floor up, right?
Yeah.
Then they touch things and they put things in their mouth and they want to feel in it. And then by the time they're walking, they get very curious.
Yeah.
So they learn and connect through the world just using their senses.
Yeah.
So humans connect is a part of our nature.
It is. And
So
even if
this
you
actually technology is going against our nature as beings.
it,
So it's going to be interesting to see how this develops.
yeah, and well, we got to talk about it, right? And we got to make certain that we pass it down. We got to make sure we set the
Mhm,
example. But even on a biblical standpoint, God observed Adam's solitude and declared it is not good for
mhm,
man to be alone. Even in Ecclesiastics, two are better than one. So not only from a baby perspective, but even from a
mhm.
biblical perspective, we should not be alone. And so we have to figure out how do we reconnect. And you talked about it a little bit. So let's talk about how do we reconnect with ourselves. Before we can truly connect with someone else, we first have to connect with ourselves, right? That's really, really important. So how do we do that, Tasha? I have some ways. What do you think? How do we connect with ourselves first?
Well, I think the first question you can ask yourself when you look in the mirror is, I think one of the people I love so much that's out there in the public eye, that's coaches and do the work that she do. She's a spiritual coach and a leader in our world is Ayana Van
I
Zant. And I
love
remember
her.
her saying, I love her to death as well. I remember her saying one time, how you want to have somebody spend time with you and you don't know how to spend time with yourself. And I was like, girl, she be saying stuff that's nerve breaking. So I think that is a question to ask when you look in the mirror. Do you like yourself? Do you feel like you have something to offer? Do you think people will like you? Do you want to communicate with other people? Do you feel like you can socially connect? So I think when you can answer those questions confidently, then you
Yes.
can go out there and connect with anybody in the world. But if you can't, then maybe there's some things you need to be checking in with yourself about.
Yes, and I love that. And you're so right. I used to always say, when I used to do you can't expect somebody to love you if you don't love yourself. I think that's an unfair position to put somebody else in, one that you don't even want for yourself. So we always have to start with the self, always. Some of the things I thought about when it says, how do we reconnect with ourselves? And I'll just talk about some of the things that I love doing. I love sitting in silence. I feel like sitting in silence allows the voice of God to just hover over me and talk to me. I love sitting in silence. I think that is very critical. We drowning out the noise and just sitting still and listen. That's one of the ways. I think the other way is, I don't know. Ever since I was a little girl, I used to love going outside barefooted, and I didn't barefoot, and I didn't understand why. But as I've gotten older and gone through my own healing journey, when you put your feet in the grass and the roots, it's almost like the earth is just, it's undescribable, that feeling. That's all I'm gonna
Mhm,
say.
mhm,
Go outside in nature, let the sun hit your face, just walk. I haven't done a lot of that lately, but I do go outside. And I think another thing is connect with your family. My family's like a socket to me. If I get
Hmm.
to a point where I'm just not feeling my best self, I was telling my daughter the other day, I said, listen, I have something to tell you. I said, nothing to be alarmed about. I said, but I'm a little depressed. She said, yeah. I said, not depressed where I'm going to go and jump off the bottom stoop. But, she was like, well, I know. I said, it too shall pass. I just have to sit with it. And I did. And it passed like really quickly. But we have to be honest with ourselves and what we're feeling and
Hmm.
where's it coming from. So you're right, you got to check in with yourself. What are some other ways, Tasha, people can reconnect with themselves before they get to somebody else?
I think, like you said, being outside in nature is one of the things you love. So what you're telling people is ask yourself, what is one thing that it brings me joy?
Yeah.
I think one thing that brings me joy is I love ice cream. Whatever's going on, the world could be at end, but if I find me a piece of ice cream, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna be okay. So if you enjoy like going to get ice cream or whatever you find that you enjoy, and if you can enjoy that by yourself, that's something you really actually enjoy. So I think everyone should have that go-to or that spot in a place in their heart that can ground them. Like
Yeah.
one thing that they absolutely can do by themselves and don't need nobody else to do it with them. And if people can't remember, I'll tell you one thing my mama used to tell me when we used to be like, "We boy, we want to go outside or we want to go to somebody else's house and play because we want to be with somebody." I must have used to say something like that to my
Yeah.
mother because her go-to statement was, "You was born by yourself and you're gonna die by yourself. Figure it out." So I guess she didn't want to take me. I just only remember what Diane would say,
Yeah.
but I don't know what I was saying to elicit that. But I'm sure it was something like that.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be like others and not comparing yourself to others. I remember as I got older, that was what so and so mother let them do this. Okay, well you won't be doing what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
So if you can find something that you do enjoy, that's one place you can start. Just start there and then kind of continue to explore that. I could give some suggestions. Take a walk.
Take
Get
a
up in the
walk.
morning and take a walk.
Yeah.
Take a walk by yourself. You don't need nobody to take a walk with
Nope.
you and just kind of if you want to listen to music, listen to music. If you want to walk and be in silence and people watch, listen to the birds, do that. Get outside and take a walk.
Yeah.
One of the other things you could do is if you can't really connect with people just
Yeah.
yet, you can have like look at pictures
Yeah.
of to remind yourself
Yeah.
to because it's a lot of visual cues can help you remember why you like to connect with people and remember why people like to connect with you as
Yes.
well.
That's right. That's right. And you know what's so funny? I loved when you said, do things that bring you joy. Can I tell you, going to church on Sunday brings me such great joy. I probably need to
Yeah.
go more throughout the week, but that's neither here nor there. When I go to church, we're not just the body of Christ. Like the people I sit with in the front, in the back, in the side,
Mhm.
it is so much love when you are in their presence. I can't wait to get there. In fact, when I don't go to church because I travel a lot, it just I'm off a little bit. I'm off. And when I
Mhm.
go to church, it like it recharges me. And even when you for yourself, there are people you want to talk to, people you enjoy talking to, people who fill your cup. Um, Talk to those people, you know. But when you talk to people too, when it comes to reconnecting, you got to be present.
Yeah.
You got to be present when you are talking to people.
Well, the Golden Link says she likes to have dinner and a movie by herself. That's a
Oh,
good one.
that's a
Yeah. Yeah.
really good one, Golden Link. That is
Yeah.
a
Take
really
herself
good
out
one.
to dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what I like about what she just said is she knows like what makes her
Hmm.
happy. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? I
Hmm.
love that. That is some
Hmm.
good stuff, Tasha. Facebook family, YouTube family. What made you smile today? What brought you joy today? Tell us in the chat. Let us know what makes you happy. Let us know what fills your cup. I love that. Tasha, Tasha, Tasha.
Yes. So yeah, we some other ways. So other ways that I do is I besides just like sitting in silence I would like I sit and I kind of think about what I'm going to do for the next week or for the next month. Like I like to plan
Oh,
out
okay.
that, and that actually helps me to reconnect with myself because it'll remind me of things that I have not done because we get caught up in the day to day, the hustle and bustle, and we forget the things that we do like to do.
Mm,
So when I sit and plan a little bit, that helps me to reconnect back with myself and bring me back to a grounding place.
yeah.
So those are some of the things I do. And sometimes I sit and read the Bible. There's so many if you don't really like to read the Bible because people say, "Oh my God, read the Bible." That sounds overwhelming. But you know what? There's
No,
so
yeah.
many study guides out there that you can connect with the other stories to tell to take you through the verses. I really do enjoy that. That brings me joy as well. It definitely fills up my cup and remind me to have faith.
And
So I
and
do love that.
and they have it on audio. I have an audio Bible.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. But I think a lot of people are shy away from that if they are spiritually connected and go to church because they feel like they can't understand it, so they kind of wait till they go to church and have the
yeah.
pastor do it.
Yeah.
But again, there's so many aids that can help tell the story in a different way and stuff like that. So I think that's one of the other things. And then Sabrina talks about this a lot. Journaling.
Oh,
Just write.
yes.
And journaling could be any way. You could write story, you could write poetry, you could write bullet lists. You could just have a free stream of thought, your consciousness, get it out. That helps you to reconnect with yourself because it's just you're not just in your head. You now see your thoughts on paper. So those are some ways to enjoy
You know
that.
what else is
And
good
also,
too? Dancing. Like you
oh yeah,
ever put
especially
on
if you
some
like music.
music and just dance through your house? Oh,
Mhm.
it is so I can't even describe
It is
it.
very, very
It is
fun.
so
I
fun.
dance a lot, so I think that's regular. And I have two dancing partners. I dance so much when I leave my office, because when I take breaks, my dogs actually stay calm to music. They love R&B,
Yeah.
so I just put that on, and it's real low, and they'll be in there snoring. You turn that music off, they wake right up,
Yep.
right? So that's what when we leave the house, we leave the music playing for them. But I'll come out, and if there's a good mix on and I start dancing, they actually dance with me. They jumping around and running in circles and dancing with me. It's so funny. So it does bring you joy to dance.
And you know what? And so we talked about how do we connect with ourselves, but when we once we connect with ourselves, if you have a spouse, if you have children, how do you connect with them?
Yeah.
How do you stay present with them, right? Game night. If you have a
Hmm.
spouse or partner, set aside time for just you two. Look each other in the eyes. That is so hard for some people to do, to look you
Hmm.
directly in your eye and just talk, being
Yeah,
present.
have a conversation. I
Yeah.
get on my husband' nerves because when I take a break, I'll be waiting for running out there to be with him. And look, he loves to be with me, but if anybody out there knows Sean, like most people in my family do, you can't change up on Sean. If he got his schedule for the day, he got his schedule for the day. It literally just happened before the podcast because I was off at
Really?
5 and I wanted to talk with him because had I usually get ready for the podcast from 6 to like 6:45. So I was off at 5. So I was looking forward to talking to him. And he was going out the door to go get something. I don't know. He liked to go outside, right? And so he like, I'm like, what time is the podcast? I said at 7. He said, well, I'll talk to you when I come back. And I was like, no, you can't talk to me when you come back because it's 5:15 now. By the time you get back, it'll be 6 and I got to get ready for the podcast. He stayed and talked to me for about 30 minutes.
Oh, that is so
Yeah, so that was
selfless.
really
I
nice because
love
that was the
that.
first time we kind of connected today. So I look forward to, so even if I have 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm ashamed to say, because if some of my clients are watching, and usually I tell them if when I'm late, I'm like, I'm sorry, I got caught talking to my husband. So I'll have like a 15 or 20-minute break and I have to really be careful because me and Sean could talk for hours together. And that 15 and 20 minutes go by so quick, I'll be 5 minutes late for the client because we done been talking for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So, just talking to each
Yes. And
other,
being
you can
present.
connect with people.
I
And we be just talking about random stuff. I have to stop him when he start talking about, the person in charge of this country, right? I'm like, that's enough. Time out.
time
But
out.
yes, but just like whatever's on our mind, it just pop out. Like, oh, Sean, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Da 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 da. So
Yeah.
we have a good time. But other ways to connect with people besides online, and this goes also hand in hand. We trying to have a dating show, to talk about dating and online dating. I guess we'll get that together eventually. But join the group. I tell people a lot. whatever your hobby is, there got to be somebody out there that has the same hobby. Join a
Yes.
class with your hobby. For people who are athletic, do amateur sports, sport
Right.
clubs,
Right.
because you can meet people
Join a gym.
like that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, the gym is the new social club. I think we talked a
Yes.
little bit about that on the podcast at one time. Maybe
Yeah.
we was talking about something, and they
Yeah.
talk about the gym is the social club now.
Now is a better time than any to use your creative juices to be
Mhm.
connected with a person or yourself and not connected to the Wi-Fi. Don't
Yeah,
take the
because
easy out.
contrary to what people may think is everyone else is doing the same thing, but people are yearning for connection too. They
They
just
really
won't be
are.
vulnerable because it's like the herd mentality. And I don't say that to be disrespectful,
Yeah.
but it's like if you can't beat them, join them. That's
Yeah.
what I kind of mean. So everybody's like, well, we're dating online and we're talking through Instagram or we're talking through Facebook. And so since everybody's doing it, it's kind of like, okay, so when you say be creative, that's what that makes me think is why don't you do something different? And I get bet you 10 people gonna follow you.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that, Sabrina. Like
Yeah.
doing if you thinking about it, there's 10 other people that's thinking
That's
about the same thing.
exactly. And one thing I love that Michelle does. Michelle gives these like parties, but for small groups of women, and the women, and I've been to several of them. She usually does it for her birthday. She does these half birthdays, so every 6 months
Mhm.
Michelle's giving a party. But they're so amazing, and the way that the women connect at these events, I'm just in awe. Like I think it's such a great idea. She's even talking about doing a game night for the girls.
Mhm.
So that's another
Mhm.
option. Even you could have a game night with you and your family, your immediate
Mhm.
family. I know my husband and her husband, they play video games together. And I'm sitting up there.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's video games, but she's always like, Ma, we have to get out of this room. It's like you know how you got to get out of those rooms?
Oh,
And
the
you have to,
escape
the
room, but
escape room.
together. Yeah, they got to
Yeah.
work as a team.
Right. So they
Yeah.
have to work at a team to get out of these
Yeah, it's
escape
probably a
rooms.
video room.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, y'all are just too funny. They are so cute, but they
Yeah.
stay connected, right? Because they bond in their type of way. So there's many
Yeah.
ways to get connected. And
That's a good idea, Sabrina, too. Only because I know that there's probably people who like, well, our children, our family, we are connected. We always up in each other's
oh,
face,
all the
right? We grew
time.
up like that.
Yes.
Can't get enough of each other, right? But my daughter and my son and her boyfriend and his girlfriend, they play Grand Theft Auto together. And
Mm-hmm.
when I'm up in the city, it's the funniest thing because they be screaming and yelling and telling the other one, come rescue me. Somebody over here beating me up. So they kind of like team up together against other people playing. And
Yeah.
it's just the funniest thing, but it is a way for them to bond because they just having a good time together.
Right.
So and the fun, they all got different TVs too. Obviously, they have to. So you got 4 games going with 4 different TVs in one house and they're playing together. So that's probably what
Mm-hmm.
Shane and Jerry doing
Yeah,
too,
they
playing
so
some type of
funny.
game.
It's like this
Yeah.
level is hard, but and they both are very analytical. So it's like, but we're gonna figure this out, and so it's just funny to watch. But yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many ways to really hone in and get connected and get off this internet and
Yeah, Michelle just
social
said she's
media.
going to have a quarter birthday
Oh,
game night for the girls in October.
good
So she
stuff,
now
Chef. I
done
can't
broke her
wait.
birthday up in quarters.
Good
So I'm
stuff.
gonna be there at the Golden Link. I'm gonna be there because I missed your half birthday. And we and her are opposites. We share a birthday. So my birthday is now her fourth quarter.
her
No. Yeah,
half,
yeah, it would be
her
her
half.
fourth
Well,
quarter.
yeah, well, yeah,
Or her
her
half,
half,
her
her
half, her
half.
half. Yes, her half birthday, yes.
Yes, so
So
good stuff, Shell. I can't wait. I know it's going to
yeah.
be amazing because every time you give a party, they always are.
Right.
Um,
But talking about connecting and loneliness, I guess you go back to the Facebook and nobody else has said anything else on YouTube. But I think this leads us into next week's show. You want to tell the
yes.
guests a little bit about next week and talk about
No, I'm gonna
connection?
let you do it.
Oh,
Ooh,
oh, look
next
at me. I was putting
week
you on the spot.
you was putting me
Right.
on the spot.
So I'm
Ooh,
gonna take up a minute or two with like, we're talking about connection and talking about this ideal between loneliness and being alone. And hopefully we gave you some ideas about the difference on that. So next week we have a special guest that is a certified sex therapist.
woo,
And that's
hoo,
all I will
hoo,
say what
hoo.
we'll
It's
be
gonna
talking
be,
about.
it's gonna
We
be
met with
good.
her. Yes, it's gonna be good. And the golden link will be present. to help support us with this one. Is actually, she talked about she didn't want to be here for this show, so she wanted us to do it today. But she's the one who found the person. So Michelle is a hot mess when it
We are
comes to
going
that.
to
She's
talk
so
about it next
resourceful.
week.
Yeah,
We are going to
yeah,
try really hard to keep it PG-13. I was trying to figure out ways to say some of the stuff we were talking about when we did the interview. And I'm going to work
yes.
on it before next week. But next week
We're
is
gonna
going to be
have to, yeah. And we
sexologist,
already
ladies.
know, yes, we already know we're gonna need 2 hours for this, even though we only got 1 hour. So we really gonna have to
Let's
stay
talk about
focused. But she's
sex,
wonderful.
baby. Let's talk
Yeah.
about you and me. So it's going to be an interesting
Yeah.
conversation. But Facebook family, YouTube family, as you know, we are out of time and we still had so much more to talk about. Make sure you guys get the book, Rediscovering Your Worth, my book. We're going to talk about chapter 2, redefining enough, what enough is. And I want you guys to be ready when we start that conversation. We tried to do it today, but, disconnect and connect was really important. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We cannot have this show without you. We love you. I love you. I cannot wait till next week so we can talk about sex. Okay. I'm doing too much. I'm sorry. We'll see you next week. We're going to close out with the video on being disconnected. I love you guys. I see you next week. Make sure you share, click, and subscribe. Thank you. Tasha, and say good night.
Good night, everyone. See you next week.
It's right there. The 316. Yep.
We built these walls without a sound, living close but worlds apart. Eyes on screens, heads hanging down, while silence slowly filled our hearts. Love was waiting in the next room, crawling softly through the night. All it needed was one moment to finally look up toward the light. One touch, one smile, one embrace can heal what time could never erase. When we look up, we come alive. Heart to heart, side by side. No signal stronger than a hand to hold. No screen can replace us soul. We were never meant to walk alone. Love is where we all belong. When we choose each other every day, together we're stronger. Together we'll find our way. Hear the laughter, feel the air, see the joy return again. Every memory that we create becomes a life that never ends. Children laughing, families singing, friends becoming known once more. The greatest gift we'll ever treasure. Put the phones down, lift your eyes, watch hope begin to rise. One conversation, one shared smile can change your life forever. The world grows brighter when we're together. We come alive, hand in hand, heart to heart. Every hug can heal the soul. Every moment makes us whole. Love is louder than the noise. Hope is found in simple joys. This is where forever starts. When we look up and open our hearts, look up. Someone is waiting to smile with you. Look up. The most beautiful moments have never been on a screen. They've always been right beside you.